Everyone has a different way of expressing themselves. Some choose art forms like music and dancing, others like to write poems and prose. However, one of the most underrated forms of art is architecture. Designing a great home is no easy task. A home where its residents can feel more comfortable than anywhere else in the world. The majority of us have only experienced living within the confines of four boring brick walls, but there are houses all over the planet that are a world apart from the traditional homes. You see everywhere. Here are the 10 most interesting and strangest homes. Number 10. The Kettle House. A familiar landmark for many Galveston beachgoers has gotten a major facelift. If you've ever driven down Galveston Island near Jamaica Beach, you might have seen the Kettle House, an all-metal structure that looks like, well, a big kettle. It's round on the bottom with a pointed roof and rusted at every seam. It was originally built to be a tank for an oil and gas company in the 1960s, but it was never used. So, the welder who made it purchased it and placed it on that spot where he planned to turn it into a convenience store. But that never happened. Still, its unusual nature made it a well-known landmark in the area. In fact, when a Galveston-themed version of Monopoly was made, the Kettle House was one of the properties players could buy. But its days as a rusted-out curiosity are over. It's being turned into a home by house flippers Michael and Ashley Cordray. Number 9. The Carrot House. Polish architect Jakub Szczesny claims to have built the world's narrowest house, just 122 centimeters across at its widest point. The Carrot House is squeezed into a crevice between two buildings in the center of Warsaw and will provide a temporary home for traveling writers. It started with space, Szczesny told DZN, after explaining how he came across the site when walking home one day. I started to think who could live there. It had to be a person that would like to be a hermit, someone who would like to spend time alone doing something, but doing what? The body of the house is raised up on stilts, and a staircase leads inside from underneath. At its narrowest point, the house is no more than 72 centimeters wide. Everything was custom and everything needed to be pushed, said Szczesny, explaining how they managed to fit in all the necessary furnishings. Number 8. Cement Factory. In 1973, Spanish architect Ricardo Bofill discovered an old cement factory just outside Barcelona. He identified several magical elements that were surprisingly modern, from surrealism in the building's stairs that led nowhere to brutalism in its structure and absurdity in its strange proportions. Seduced by the contradictions and the ambiguity of the place, we quickly decided to retain the factory and sculpt it like a work of art. The architect now works and lives in this stunning space, and beautifully describes life there as a continuous sequence, with very little difference between work and leisure. The factory dates from the early 20th century, thus giving the impression of living in the same environment that propelled the Industrial Revolution in Catalonia. Number 7. A mobile aquatic pod. Designed as a studio space and personal experiment in minimal life by artist Stephen Turner, the Xberry Egg is a floating home and studio space based on the premise of re-evaluating what we traditionally think of as a home. It's intended to be an installation, moved by boat, but is currently being used by Turner as a year-long home. Fashioned almost entirely from artfully wrapped wood, the tiny one-room space will be washed by tides, rains, and winds over time to gain a unique patina, integrating the structure into the visual theme of the marsh area surrounding it. Inside, Turner has a basic shower and cooking devices, as well as a hammock to rest in. While the Xberry Egg may draw stares while being towed through a populous area, it fits right in where the artist claims it belongs, in unchanged nature. Turner leaves his floating pod each day to collect natural items to use in artworks, as well as to restock on supplies. For that, an entrance and removable dock were built on the side of the egg. Number 6. Free Spirit Spheres. Somewhere in the middle of the forest on Vancouver Island, you'll find large wooden orbs suspended from the trees. Take the spiral staircase and short suspension bridge leading up to them and enter into the sphere to experience nature from a different perspective. Designed to look vaguely like enormous nuts or seeds, the cedar and spruce spheres borrow from and collaborate with the surrounding environment. The suspension mimics spider webs by attaching to several different strong points among the trees. The spheres are made of fiberglass and wood and borrow heavily from sailboat and construction methods. Inside the curving walls complete with portholes for windows, space is maximized with fold-out tables and mirrors, curved loft beds and benches, and tiny appliances. Touted as the ultimate treehouse experience, these free spirit spheres can be rented overnight. If you just want to see them, book an appointment as they are on private property. Number 5. The Pass House. Skateboarding star Pierre-André Senezerds wanted to skate over every surface of his new house, inside and out, so he turned to Californian architect François Perrin plus designer and skater Gil Leben Delapointe to make it a reality. The PAS house is the project of a private residence, to be built in Malibu, California. In this house, you will be able to skateboard any areas and surfaces, indoor and outdoor. The PAS house is the first house to be entirely used for skateboarding, as well as being a traditional dwelling. The concrete and glass residence is named PAS House, after the former world champion, and will be split into 3 sections to accommodate living and dining areas at one end, a bedroom and bathroom in the middle, and a practice area at the far end. Although construction of the house is not underway, the architects have built a full-size wooden prototype to demonstrate how walls, floors, and ceilings will form a continuous curved surface, and even furniture and worktops can be skated over. Number 4. The Toilet-Shaped House. There's a house in South Korea designed to look like a toilet. The Toilet House, as it is called, was built in 2007 by a Mr. Sim Jae-deok, who later became chairman and founder of, wouldn't you know it, the World Toilet Association. His goal was to promote proper restroom hygiene and sanitation around the world, and to set international standards on how to clean public restrooms, and most specifically, toilets. According to Sim, inadequate restroom and toilet cleanliness have caused epidemics around the world that cost 2 million lives a year. The toilet-shaped house is in Suwon, which is about 25 miles south of Seoul. While Sim was famously called Mr. Toilet, and the house nicknamed the Toilet House, that is not its official name. Instead, he named it Haewooji, which signifies in Korean a place of sanctuary where one can solve one's worries. The house has 2 bedrooms, 2 guest rooms, and 3 deluxe bathrooms. The entire house is made of steel, white concrete, and glass. It also has a symbolic bowl-like opening on the roof. Along with being chairman of the World Toilet Association, Sim was also mayor of his small town and became famous for providing all the toilets at the 2002 World Cup, held in South Korea. He also made a fortune developing metal products, many of which were purchased by Samsung Electronics, which is headquartered in Suwon. Number 3. The Tree Hotel. 7 Scandinavian architects have now built tree houses for Sweden's Tree Hotel, including a bird's nest, a mirrored cube, and the charred timber cabin added earlier this month by Snøhetta. Set up by Kent Lindvall and his wife Britta in 2010, the Tree Hotel offers themed lodgings for tourists venturing north of the Arctic Circle in search of the northern lights. The 7 suites are arranged through a stretch of woodland located in Herads, with designs by architects including Tam Vidgard Arkitekter and Rintala Egertsen Architects. The Lindvalls were inspired by Jonas Selberg Augustson's film The Tree Lover, a tale of 3 urbanites that build a treehouse together in the forest. At the time, the couple was running a 1930s guesthouse on the site where the movie was shot, but struggling to attract business. So they decided to rent out the treehouse instead. It's time for our best pick. This house is not for an ordinary human being. It's a safe and amazing place to spend your whole day and night, and you need little gut to enter this house. Let's talk about it over the next number 2. Cliff House. A 5-story modular home clings to the side of a cliff in this conceptual design by Modscape. Entitled The Cliff House, the modular design is a theoretical response to clients who have approached Modscape to explore design options for building modular homes in Australia on extreme parcels of coastal land. Inspired by the way barnacles cling to the hull of a ship, a concept was developed for a modular home to hang off the side of a cliff as opposed to sitting on top of it. The home is visualized as a natural extension of the cliff face rather than an addition to the landscape, creating an absolute connection with the ocean. As the design itself would make conventional construction prohibitive, The concept utilizes Modscape's modular design and prefabrication technologies to deliver a series of stacked housing modules that are anchored into the cliff face using engineered steel pins. Entry to the prefabricated home is through a carport on the top floor, where a lift vertically connects the user through each of the descending living spaces. Internally, the living spaces feature minimalistic furnishings to ensure that the transcendent views of the ocean and the unique spatial experience of the location remain the integral focal point of the design. Before moving to the next number, we just want one small favor from you. Our team is working hard behind the scenes. We love to see your reaction to our videos. Please like our video and subscribe to our channel and press the bell to get notification of our upcoming videos. Number 1. Envelope House. Designer Michael Jansen built the envelope transformer house to show how a house could rearrange itself to fit the requirements of the occupant. The slated wooden panels slide on a steel frame to shift the walls, doors, and roof into new positions inside the house. Benches can be folded away to give more room when needed. The envelope has a size of 230 square feet and fits into a small area, and has added elements of renewable efficient energy and sustainable materials into its construction. There are only 10 envelope houses in existence, and they're perfect to make use of as holiday homes or relaxation residences. This is the end of our video. Did you ever visit any of these homes? Share your view and experience with us by using the comment box. You can also watch some more amazing video on our channel here.